computer. So first of all, let's go over the question you had issues with. Said minus y plus 5x minus 12. All you had to do, remember, we wanted y equal mx plus b. So we want y all by itself. So what you notice is everything else is on the left side. So all we got to do is do plus y, add y to both sides. You get 5x minus 12 equal y. I mean, we can change the order. Y equal 5x minus 12. The slope is what?
The slope is 5.
5, and the y-intercept is what?
It's minus 12.
There you go.
I could kick myself. I overthought that problem.
But that's why I changed the difficulty. That's why I changed the order. So you can see it in different ways. So what happens is if you experience a difficult problem, something that's going to be tough for you, what happens is now you know how to handle it when you take your exam. So it won't fluster you as much. And that's the whole goal. All right. So anything else? You have problems with?
Nothing.
Okay. Let me open up some of these.
Nothing, because I know what I did wrong on the graph, so I know what I did wrong on that.
Dara?
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing, Mr.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Right now, like my class is teaching me right now, like when I go into class this week is ratio, proportion, percent now.
Oh, okay.
So the biggest thing about that is, let me go to a blank page. Ratio, proportion, and percent. So a ratio, just like a rational number, is just any number that can be shown as a fraction. That's all a ratio is. Like people don't realize it, but that's all a ratio is. For example, a ratio is just a comparison between two numbers. It could be written as with a colon. It can be written with the word two, or it could be written as a fraction. Because we have to do computations with it, we want to change ratios to fractions. So once you have it as a fraction, you understand that, then all the same rules apply when you're working with fractions. So equivalent fractions. So one of the ways I tell you to solve proportions, right? Well, not one of the ways. The ways I tell you to solve proportions is, first of all, equivalent fractions. That's the first way you should try, especially on the GED. The second way is unit rate. And the third way is cross multiply. So first of all, if you know what a ratio is, you know what a proportion is. What is a proportion? A proportion is two ratios set equal to each other. And then if you are familiar with the three ways to solve a proportion, it doesn't matter what they give you, you can solve. So let's look at an example. And I'm going to use one from the study guide, of course. Let me see where are you? There we go. And let's see if I can find one. Again, identify the ratio that you know. If they're going to give you a proportion problem, they will always give you a ratio inside of the problem every single time. If I can find it here. And again, this GED study guide is a 40 question. Here we go, right here. So a scale drawing of a house uses a scale of 0.5 inches to 2 feet. Well, that's your first ratio. That's your first comparison. Every 5 inches is equal to 2 feet. So you set that ratio up first. So 0.5 inches is the 2 feet. We know what a proportion is. A proportion is two ratios set equal to each other. So I'm going to draw my equal sign. And what else is given? 5 feet. Well, if you look at the ratio that we already set up, inches is at the top, feet is at the bottom. So remember, both sides of the equal sign must be the same. So if we have feet on the left, we're going to have feet on the right. You understand that? Now, this is the unknown. So remember what I told you. You can solve it equivalent fractions. Now, 2 doesn't go evenly into 5. So we're not going to use equivalent fractions there. We could use, you know, unit rate. So what is unit rate? So unit rate is 1. How far is 1 foot? So watch this, watch this. So if I take 0.25, so let's solve this by unit rate first. And if anybody has that calculator out, what is 0.5 inches divided by 2?
0.5 divided by 2.
0.5 divided by 2.
That's 25. That's 0.25.
0.25 inches for every foot. So listen, I kept my measurements, my inches at the top, my feet at the bottom. So my unit rate is 0.5 inches for every foot. If I got to go 5 feet, that means, so for example, if I got 0.25 inches for every foot, how can I find out what's the actual length going to be of 5 feet? What am I going to do?
Can you cross multiply too?
Rewind. Right now we're doing unit rate.
Oh.
So if I know it's 0.25 inches for every 1 foot, how can I see how long the actual length is for 5 feet? What operation would I do next?
You divide again.
Why would I divide?
No, you gotta multiply.
Multiply by what?
What is he doing? By 2.
Why would I multiply by 2?
Wait a minute, y'all confusing me because I already did the
Common
answer
denominator.
another way.
Listen to, see, this is what I mean by having a conceptual understanding what unit rate is. So that means for every 0.25 inches, that's the equivalent of 1 foot.
Okay.
So if I want to know how long 5 feet is, so if I got 0.25 inches for 1 foot, and then I got another 0.25 for the second foot, and I got another 0.25 for the third foot, and I got another 0.25 for the fourth foot.
Adding.
You're adding, but what is it when you add the same thing multiple times?
1, 2, 3, 4. You multiply.
That's multiplication. So once you find, this is the beauty of unit rate. This is why unit rate is going to be on every GED exam. Every GED exam you will ever have will have unit rate. So in this case, 0.25 for every 2.25 inches for every foot, and I need to go 5 feet. That means I need to multiply that by 5. What is 0.25 divided times 5? Not divided, times 5. What is 0.25 times 5?
1.25.
1.25.
1.25. That's your answer.
Yeah, that's what
if you solve this by unit rate. Okay. Well, what if I cross multiply? So that's one way you can solve it, is unit rate. Remember, to solve a proportion, there are 3 ways. And let me say them again. Equivalent fractions, unit rate, cross multiplication. Okay, so that first way I just showed you was unit rate. Now we're going to cross multiply. Again, I want to cross multiply. So I'm gonna use my 2 terms that have the variable first. So I'm gonna do 2 times x, which is 2x. I'm gonna do 0.5 times 5, which is 2.5. So 2x is equal to 2.5. In order to get x by itself, what do I need to do?
Oh yeah, okay, that's 25. So that's how you got 2.5. Okay.
Because you're gonna move your decimal point 1 place. Because 5 times 5 is 25, and you move your decimal 1 place.
I just figured that out when you wrote it. I'm like 2.5. How did you get that?
Now remember, you can't make a mistake because you can use your calculator.
Yeah.
You should never make a mistake. After the first 5, sign, numbers, multiplication, division, you should not make a mistake because you should be in the habit of using your calculator so much that you can't make a mistake. So 2.2x equal 2.5. How can I get x by itself? How can I solve for x? What do I need to do?
You need to cancel out.
You got
so
to minus the 2.
So you gotta divide x.
So I heard somebody say -2. I heard somebody say I need to divide 2.
Okay.
Tell me what the answer is. If 2x, what does 2x mean? What operation is happening?
2 times.
That's multiplication.
2 times.
2 times.
Yeah, that's multiplication.
Right.
So you got to reverse it to division.
You got to do the opposite. So you got to do division.
Okay.
So x is equal to 1.25. So that's the second way we did it. So the first way we did it by unit rate. The second way we did it by cross multiplication. Now watch this. Watch common sense. If 0.5 is 2 feet, and this is you should know 0.5 is a ½ inch. If you don't know, then you need to do some more study. You should know your common fraction. So if I know if a ½ inch is 2 feet, how much is 1 inch?
Yeah, I take half off.
One.
If a ½ inch is 2 feet, how much is 1 inch?
It's 1.
1 whole.
If 1/2 inch
Say it again.
is 2 feet, if 1/2 inch is 2 feet, how much is 1 inch?
Okay, so you add another feet.
An 1/8 inch.
Okay, so this is what, see, this is what happens when people start running into computation. Let's use common sense. If a ½ inch is 2 feet, what's 1 inch?
It's 4.
4. That's, you don't have to do work. A ½ inch, an inch is double the size of a ½ inch, right?
It's
a
4.
half, right?
Yeah.
It's 4 feet. So
It's
now,
4
if
feet.
I know 1 inch is 4 feet, right? What's
Mhm.
2 inches?
2 inches. Okay, you got that's 8.
6
feet. Now,
8 feet. 8 feet.
8 feet. Now, but I gotta find 5 feet. Watch, this is the
So,
common sense way. This is no math at all. If I know 5 feet, if I know 2 feet is a ½ inch, I know 4 feet is 1 inch, and I know 2 inches is 8 feet, I know my answer cannot be larger than 2 because 2 inches is 8 feet. Bang, bang, bang. Got my answer. I'm done. Common sense. You gotta take your time. Don't rush into computation. Just because you see numbers, people start trying to do something. You don't have to do that. And this is also why you need to practice enough so when you get problems like this, it won't throw you off. This, to me, when I saw this problem, right away I knew the answer. I didn't even have to look at it because I know 1/2 inch is 2 feet. I know 1 inch is 4 feet. So right away I know it's a little bit above 1. I'm done. I don't even have to set it up because I understand what a ratio is. I understand what unit rate is. So the first thing I did was, how much is 1 inch? 1 inch is 4 feet. Well, I got to find 5 feet. I know it's a little bit more than 1. None of these answers satisfy except for 1.25. Now, if they was closer, like 1.1 and 1.25 and 1.3, then you would have to actually do your work. But in this case, the multiple choice is so far off, you can answer that quickly and get it right. So again, mental math is important. Using your calculator is important. And understanding what answer you expect is also important. Okay. All right. What's next?
Do you have more questions like this?
Well, you better stop playing. You must ain't signed up for Schoology, did you? Did you sign up for Schoology?
Yeah, I did.
That means you ain't been on it then.
I haven't been on it.
Because I already know. Because if you ask me, do I have more problems? Do I have more problems? Are you kidding me? Do I have more problems? I got so many problems. Problems will be falling out your earlobes.
Oh no.
Oh, so, as I'm looking online right now, I definitely see ratio and proportion.
Yeah,
okay. So I got 2 places where you can find practice problems. I got them in the lessons. So you can go under each lesson, you can find practice problems. So if you go under here, ratio and proportion, you have practice problems. You got a pretest that you can. So usually I would advise you take the pretest, see what you know and you don't know. Do I have to spend time on this area or not? That's why the pretest is there. If you get 70, 75, 80 or above, move on to the next section because you know it well enough. And then you got practice here, online practice in Khan Academy and CK12. So right away, pretest, online practice, and then I got a whole practice section that you also can work with. All right. Okay. So for example, let's just look at one. Do I have more problems? Let's just look at one. Let's see a ratio and proportion. Question. Let's go to preview. And I'm just gonna pick one. Nah, we have to do a question. We'll look at the question. That way I can skip through it. Okay, here we go right here. Here we go. Right.
Number 6.
Let's do a word problem. The ratio of compact cars to larger model cars sold during a month was 9-4. If 72 compact cars were sold during the period, how many larger cars were sold? Okay, so let me ask you a question. What is the ratio that we know?
9-4.
9-4. So I already know, because Mr. Tinsley told me, I can write a ratio as a fraction. So I'm gonna write 9-4 just to keep track, so I know what's what. The 9 is what? Is the 9 compact or is the 9 larger cars? How do I know?
The 9 is larger cars.
No,
and you said the ratio compact cars.
No, the 4, the ratio to cars, compact cars to larger. So,
correct. See that word two?
Yeah.
That gives you the clue. Compact is first. So compact goes with the 9.
Yes.
Okay.
And the larger goes with the 4.
With 4, yeah.
Because that 2, compact to large, is telling you in the respective order. Compact first, then large. Understand that? So I set my first ratio up. The second thing you should hear me saying in your head is a proportion is 2 ratios set equal to each other. So I'm gonna write my equal sign. And then what else is given? 72.
2 compacts were sold.
So is my 72 gonna go at the top or is it gonna go to the bottom?
Going at the top.
Why is it gonna go at the top?
No, it's the bottom because the larger cars.
2, that's right. Sorry.
Wait, 72 compact cars were sold. No, it is at the top because as the same way as the 9 was at the top. As compact
not because
cars.
of the 9, it's because of the compact cars at the top.
Compact. Okay.
So the 72 is going to go at the top. Compact to compact. You need to have the same thing on both sides of the equal. So
and then you got to put
Mr. Tinsley said there's 3 ways I can solve a proportion. He said equivalent fractions, unit rate, or cross multiplication. So I'm gonna try the easiest way first. Let me see if I can use equivalent fraction. Is there a number that I can multiply by 9 to get 72?
It's the
8.
8. So if I multiply the top by the 8, I have to multiply the what by the 8?
The bottom.
The bottom. What is 4 times 8?
32.
32.
You got your answer. 32 larger cars. There we go. Done.
Oh wow.
Stop playing.
Stop playing.
Again,
you got that.
Again, there's 3 ways. Equivalent fraction, unit rate, cross multiplication. Let's look at the next one real quick. Real quick. Let's just look at the next one real quick.
Can you do it by the unit rate first? Because I'm kind of confused how you get that, do that concept.
Now, let me ask you a question. Does 4 go into 9?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, no.
No, it doesn't.
First of all,
about
don't just answer question. Think about the question first. Does 4 go into 9?
No.
So in this case, I'm not going to use unit rate. Can I? Can I use unit rate? Yes. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you that you can do it. What? Now, I would, again, I was helping somebody with some trigonometry. Hold on, let me get that off.
Oh.
Helping somebody some trigonometry. Sorry about that.
So boom.
Now, 9 divided by 4. You get 2.25. So that means it's 2.25 compact cars for every large car. You understand that? So that's 2.25 compact car. But can you have a 2.25 car?
No.
So this is why in this case, I wouldn't do unit rate. Can you solve it with unit rate? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can solve it with unit rate, but I wouldn't. So again, the 3 things I would think about when I'm solving a proportion: equivalent fractions, unit rate, cross multiplication. Let me show you an example. So in that case here, that second one, I would use equivalent fractions. Here, a can of tomatoes. So let's change this price a little bit, or you don't have to, but I'll show you. We'll do 10 and 11 real quick. Matter of fact, I'll change them up so they'll make sense. So say, for example, this said, I don't know, two for 105 is fine, right? So I could do this 2 ways. I could say, okay, equivalent fraction, $1.05 for 2 cans, how much would it cost for 14 cans? Right away, I can see equivalent fractions. Right away, I can see I have to multiply both sides by 7, right?
Yeah, 2 and the
So I get
14.
735.
Okay.
That's using equivalent fractions. Okay, let's try unit rate. How much does each can cost? So again, $1.05 divided by 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my calculator because I want to find out how much 1 costs. Again, this is why I said you can do it, but watch this. $1.05 divided by 2 is how much 1 can is going to cost. But no can really costs 52.5 cents. But if you go in the supermarket, you'll see those prices like that because they do change. But that's how much 1 can costs. But once I know how much 1 can cost, I can find out how much 5 costs. I can find how much 10 costs. I can find how much 15 costs. I can find out how much 10,000 cans cost once I know 1, because now all I got to do is multiply by the number. So since I want to know how much 14 costs, times by 14. Let's see if I get the same 35 that I got before. Did I get the same $7.35?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so
Yeah,
again, so that was equivalent fractions, unit rate, and now let's try the last one, which is cross multiplication. So 2 cans cost $1.05 is equal to 14 cans over X. If I cross multiply, I'm going to get 2X equal 14, because $14, right? And 14 times 10 is what, what's that? 14 times 10 was 70 cents, right? In order to get X by itself, I got to divide by 2. The 2's cancel. X equal 735. Did I still get the same thing?
Yes.
Wait, how did you get to 70 again?
Okay, so let me show you. Remember, when you want to cross multiply, so 2 times X is 2X.
Yeah, I got that.
14 times $1.05.
Yeah.
Okay.
See that cross?
Listen, 14 times $1.05. Yeah, you got 1470. Yes.
And then you divide both sides by 2.
You get 735.
Now, on the GED, most of the time you can solve by equivalent fractions, but you should be familiar with all 3. Equivalent fractions is the easiest way, but you're going to have a unit rate problem. Now, let's look at a word problem. Oh, Mr. Tinsley, I know when I'm in class, I know how to do proportions. I know how to set it up. But when I get a word problem, Mr. Tinsley, I don't know what to do. Let's look at number 11. If a 5-gallon of paint will cover 1,125 square feet, how many gallons will be needed to paint a room that's 2,875 square feet of wall surface? Oh my goodness, I don't even know how to do that problem, Mr. Tinsley. Can anybody help me? Should I solve this equivalent fractions? Should I solve this unit rate? Or should I solve this cross multiplication?
Cross multiplication.
Okay, how I'm going to set it up?
You can put 5 gallons.
5 gallons. Yeah.
Over 125 or 1,125.
Then on the other side, you're gonna put
you put
X.
2,875.
The top or bottom?
It's gonna be on the top. No. Okay, you go ahead and do it.
Top or bottom?
You can put it on the top. 2,875 over X.
2,875 feet squared. So when I look on the left side, what do I see?
Nothing.
So when I look on the left side, what do I see?
5 gallons.
When I look on the right side, what do I see?
Feet. Oh no, feet got to be on the bottom.
Bottom, yes.
Listen. So what you have to remember is very important for you to understand. This is very important. On the opposite side of the equal, you must have the same thing. Yep. So if I got feet squared on the left side, I need feet squared on the right side.
On the right, and X go on the top.
X go on the top. So now if we want to cross multiply, I'm going to use the term with my X first. So I'm gonna have 1125X is equal to whatever that is, 2,875 times 5. Okay, so listen, again, I've been using the ebook. Mr. Tinsley has showed me how to use the calculator once I set my proportion up. So he told me in his ebook, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna hit ND and I'm gonna multiply 2875 times 5. And then on the bottom, I'm gonna put my coefficient to my X, which is 1125. Because he already showed me how to do it, so I know how to do it. Now, if you were solving this algebraically, of course, again, it's the same thing. So what happens is, listen, what you should be noticing as you're doing math, you should recognize patterns. So you should recognize when you set a proportion up that you're dividing by the coefficient of the X. So now I'm just going to go to my calculator and I'm going to, what happened to mine? There we go. And it tells me that 12.78. 12.78. Okay, well, let's find out what that means. 12.78. So X is equal to 12.78. How many gallons will be needed to paint the room? That's 2875. My answer I got is 12.78. How many gallons will I need?
13.
Well, if it's going up, it's 13.
But is it going up?
I mean, 12.78.
It doesn't. So what most people think is I need to round this off.
So leave it at 12.
It's not about rounding off. How do you buy gallons? You buy gallons as whole.
As
right?
a whole, yes.
So if I bought
12.
a gallon of paint, either I buy 12 gallons or I buy 13 gallons, right?
Yeah.
If I bought 12 gallons, would I have enough paint?
No.
No. If I bought 13 gallons, would I have enough paint?
Yes.
Yes. Now, this is the mistake that people make. Let me show you. Most people round this off. But what if this answer was 12.2? Most people select 12. You have to understand the word problem that you're solving. If it's asking you for gallons of paint, when you reach 12 gallons, you don't have enough paint. You still need 0.2 worth of paint. So you need to buy the next gallon, 13. So man, if it's 12.2, 12.78, how many gallons would you need? 13 gallons of paint.
You need 13, yeah, because
Everybody understand that?
Yeah, I understand.
Okay. So again, this is the pre-test on ratio and proportions. You got enough practice. You got practice in Khan Academy, CK12, and in the practice problems later on. So this is advice to you. When you take your practice test, or if you're taking the practice test, or if you're taking a real test, the first thing I would do when I go to Schoology is I would practice on the concepts that I got wrong first. Because you might not have to waste time with all this stuff. You may say, okay, you know what? I needed linear equations, ratio and proportions, and quadratic equations. Let me start there. And then let me take a practice test. Those are the things, like on a map of California, the scale is 2 inches for every 100 kilometers. Find the actual distance between two cities if the distance on the map is 5.5 inches. This is a problem you may see. They love scale problems. They love scale problems. So you need to be ready for a problem like number 12. All right. Any other questions? So now I can't give you all the answers, of course.
So basically,
that's
going to be 5.5 inches over 2 inches equals to
what is the ratio that you know? What is the ratio that you know?
Cross multiply.
No, listen to what I'm asking you.
The ratio, the ratio.
What's the ratio that you know?
2 inches.
2 inches to what?
To 5.5 inches.
No.
To 100 kilometers. Thank you, Mama.
That's the ratio you know. So that's what you're going to set up.
Okay.
Then I'm going to put my equal sign. What else are they giving me?
They gave us 5.5 inches.
Where's that
5.5 inches.
Where's that 5.5 going to go on the top or the bottom?
They gotta go on the top part.
Now, since you can't use equivalent fractions, we got to cross multiply.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
That's it.
And so basically, what I need to do is just make sure, like, after every single like subject that I do, when I go back to do my practice and stuff, just go back to the GED, the ebook, and just see how to punch it in inside of the calculator. So I just want this to be a breeze.
Well, first of all, what I would suggest is to make sure you know it is to do it by hand first.
Okay.
Make sure you know how to do it by hand, and then use the calculator.
Okay.
Why? Because you don't want to be shaking when you're taking your exam. Understand, anybody who's taking this math exam, you're gonna get frustrated, you're gonna get anxious, you're gonna get nervous, you're gonna read a paragraph that's gonna look like another language.
It is.
So what happens is you want to make sure, you want to be prepared to be able to answer any question by hand, and then learn how to do it with the calculator, because that'll improve your accuracy and your speed. So once you understand how to complete the problem, the calculator is then a tool. We don't want the calculator to be a crutch, because if it's a crutch and they throw some vocabulary, or they show some tables and graphs and throw you off, then you may not know where to go or how to tackle that problem. Again, every single problem that you come to on this exam, identify your givens. What are they giving you?
Understood.
From what they're giving you is their formula I need for my formula sheet. And now what do they want to know? And then go to your process. That's how you should be working out as you even doing a practice on Schoology. Listen, 8 people passed their GED math. It was a good week. You saw all them notifications of this week is because so many people was passing. You might have thought they were the same one. They were all different people this week.
Well, they studied for they were studying for 30 days too, huh?
One person was like
just tried
2 weeks.
That's crazy.
But again, everybody works at a different pace. Just because it say 30 days, that doesn't mean you have to do it in 30 days.
True.
You understand what I'm saying? So don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Do I understand it? And what steps do I need to take to make sure I understand it? And that's if you go through it that way, then you'll be fine.
True. All
right. What's any other questions? We did ratio and proportion. Anything else people have been working on? No, Sharon, I answered your question.
Do I want to bring up?
Doesn't matter what the question is. Somebody else might have that same problem.
I mean, when it comes to quadratic equations, you basically broke it down to me, and you made a long enough video, which is perfect for me, and it showed me what all I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Just reminding me, just showing us how to factor it, and then showing us how to solve the problem. I just got to keep on doing some more practice questions and stuff like that, like memorize it.
And that's a perfect thing. Cause let's use an example here. These are the lessons, right? Boom. I'm gonna come down here. Like you said, okay, I think I got quadratic equations down. So let me go under quadratic equations here.
All right.
Here's a pretest. Let me see what I know and I don't know. Because I watched the video, I think I understand it, but let me make sure. So what I did was I tried to make, where's my preview? There we go. I tried to make the pretest the types of questions that you can expect on the GED. For example, they're not asking you to solve every quadratic equation. Sometimes they're asking you to factor. Sometimes they're asking you to solve. Sometimes they're asking you to use the quadratic formula. So here, factor the following: a squared plus 8x minus 33. Okay. How would I even do this problem? Well, first of all, what I'm going to tell you to do is you should notice that this last term is a negative. If you notice that the last term is negative, that means the last 2 terms that you multiply must also be opposite signs, because the same sign is positive. So plus 11 times plus 3 is a positive 33. It can't be A. Minus 11 times minus 3 is positive 33. So it can't be C. So without even know how to do this problem, you just increased your odds to get this right to 50%, a 50-50 chance. So even if you didn't know how to do it, if you know how to multiply sign numbers, you can get this right. So now the next thing you're going to do is multiply binomials. So what you should notice is if you did enough of these, if you practiced enough of these, what you should notice right away is that x times x is going to give me x squared. X times 3 is going to give me 3x. But what I should see right here is that's going to give me negative 11. Well, I know I got to combine like terms later on. And I know 11 is bigger than 3. So I know my middle term is already going to be negative. I can stop because I need a positive middle term. Done. 15 to 20 seconds, done. So again, and I understand what you're saying. This stuff, are you ever going to use this again? Probably not. But you need it for this GED exam. If you're going into community college, if you're going into college, if you're going to post-secondary training, you need to learn each step of the way. Don't take shortcuts. Now, look at this. Look at this problem. Most people get this wrong. The area of a rectangular garden with the length of 2x plus 3 and width of x minus 5. Who even know where to start this problem? Can anybody even tell me how to start this problem?
Okay, so
the area of a rectangular garden with a length of 2x plus 3 and a width of
so
that's the rectangular is the length times width.
First of all, identify your givens. I need an area of a rectangular garden, which is area equal length times width. Perfect.
That's what I said.
Right. I'm repeating you, right?
Oh.
Perfect. That's the first step. That's what you should be in. Identifying what's given. What is the area of a rectangle? So first I need the formula for the area of a rectangle. Area equal length times width. What's my length?
The length is
2x plus
3.
2x plus 3 times what's my width?
Times x
minus 5.
Now what you should realize is even though this is an area problem, this is a multiply binomials problem, and you're going to get a quadratic equation. So 2x times x is what?
2x squared.
2x squared. So you know my first term is 2x squared. I know it's not A or B. I'm already increased my odds of getting this right by understanding how to multiply binomials. Now, what's the next thing I'm going to do?
You're going to do 2x times minus 5.
What is 2x times minus 5?
It's 10 minus 10.
Minus 10.
10.
Minus 10 what?
10x.
Minus 10x. What's my third term?
You got 3 times x.
Which is what?
3x.
Which is 3x.
3x.
And what's my last term?
Then you have 3 times minus 5 is minus
negative
15.
Do I have any like terms that I can combine?
You got 10 and you have 10x and 3x.
So I'm going to bring down my 2x squared. I'm going to bring down my minus 15. What is minus 10x plus 3x?
Minus 7.
Minus 7 what?
7x. Minus 7x.
7x.
Boom. Done. Yeah. Most people get this problem wrong. Most people get this problem wrong. Understand what they're asking you. Identify the givens. Identify what they want to know. Get your formula from your formula sheet. Now, watch this. I'm going to change this up a little bit. What if they didn't ask for the area? What if they asked for the perimeter? How would you do it? What if they ask for the perimeter?
You got to get the formula.
What's the formula?
Yeah. There's 2L plus 2W.
2L plus 2W. What's L again?
Length.
2x plus 3.
2x plus 3. Plus, what's the width?
What is it? X minus 5.
X minus 5. So now I have a 2 on the outside of parentheses, so I got to use my distributive property. What am I going to do next?
Distribute 2 to 2x.
What's 2 times 2x?
4x.
4x.
What's next?
Plus
2
plus 6
2 times
plus
3
6
is 6.
plus 6.
Plus 6. Remember, not 6x. Understand
the
computation.
I just made a mistake. I just made a mistake by saying that.
All right, what's next?
You got 2 times x is 2x.
Yes,
2x.
2 times minus 5 is minus 10.
Do we have any like terms?
Yes, the
4x and 2x.
4x and 2x. What else?
And a
And
6 and a
6
10.
and a 10.
6 and a 10. Okay. So what's 4x plus 2x?
6x.
8.
I mean, 6x. Oh,
6x. 4x plus 2x
Yeah,
is
6x.
6x because we're adding, we're
Yes.
combining them. And what's minus 10 plus 6?
4.
4.
Minus 4?
What's
Minus
minus 10 minus 4?
Oh,
so the
minus 4.
perimeter of this will be 6x minus 4. You better stop playing. You're going to learn something today. You're going to learn today. It's like,
And I didn't even know this was quadratic equations. I was just.
No. In this case, when they're adding, it is not a quadratic equation.
No, I'm talking about the first one we did.
Yeah. So remember, okay. So I didn't know this was a quadratic equation. So that means we got to make sure everybody knows what a quadratic equation is. So a quadratic equation is any equation where the highest term is to the second power.
Okay. When you see, okay.
Okay. So this is a quadratic equation. This is a quadratic equation. This is not.
Yeah.
Got
and
me?
the one with just x on x squared too, right? When you see one like
when
that.
If you just had x squared,
factoring,
that's
right?
a quadratic equation.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, we're gonna learn today.
So
All right, what's next? What's next?
So basically, I just gotta just make sure that I identify what formula that I need to use. Well, basically, it's gonna tell me inside of the word problem. Never mind, I got what I needed. I got what I needed. And you kind of went over like something else too, what I needed to go over as well. So, shoot, I'm in the game.
So, and that's what's important. Listen,
So what I need to study though.
So the advice I would give anybody is, first of all, understand as you're doing these practice problems on Schoology, this is where you use that time to identify what's given, get from your formula sheet using your calculator. Second thing I would tell you, easy, medium, hard. So even though you may get to a problem, if you recognize, the more you practice on Schoology, you'll recognize the problems that gave you trouble. So guess what? When you get to the test, don't waste 4, 5, 6 minutes on that. Flag it and skip it. Finish the exam first, then come back to it. Then work with it. What did that young lady say last week? She skipped like 8 or 9 questions. When she came back to those questions, she then recognized, oh, I remember how to do these now. Why? Because now her self-esteem, for her confidence and self-esteem was built up, and now she had confidence to answer those questions. You have to know what type of questions give you problems. So if you know, oh, this quadratic equation, I've had problem. Let me skip this for right now. I'll come back to it. Understand? All right, what's next? What's next? Yeah, oh, wow. That's right. What's next?
Awesome. I'm so happy.
What type of problems do we have next? Any problems you had during the week?
Can you do some linear equation word problems? Can you go over some of those?
Linear equation word problems?
Yes.
Yes, I can. Hold on. Let's see. So again, I'm going to do 1 or 2, but what I'm explaining to you, everything that you need is right here. If I go into linear equations, find the slope of given 2 points, find the slope of the line, slope of y-intercept, equation of a line, parallel, perpendicular. What does that say right there? Linear equations word problems.
Equation word problems.
Let's try one. Let's go to questions. And let's go to number 4. Number 4. Can everybody see number 4?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Thompson is on a diet. He currently weighs 260 pounds. He loses 4 pounds per month. Write a linear model that represents Mr. Thompson's weight after M months. After how many months will Mr. Thompson reach his goal weight of 220 pounds? Wow. Your head is about to explode. Don't worry about your head exploding. What you do is you take 5 deep breaths. Okay. What do I know? What's my givens? What did they give me?
They gave his current weight.
That's
Current weight
260.
260. What else?
He loses
He
4
loses
pounds
4
per
pounds
month.
per month.
What else do you know?
He wants to, his goal
His
is
goal
to
is
see,
220.
yeah.
Goal is 2. So what else do you want to know? What else do they want to know? Part A.
How
Okay,
many
they want
months?
to-
How many
Way
months it would
after.
take?
After, yeah.
After.
So the important thing,
Right, a
here.
linear model that
So this is
represents the
another way to
circumference
say a linear equation.
equation. Mhm.
What is the linear equation? What
Ooh,
form did I tell
wait.
you should be familiar with?
Okay. Y equals mx plus
Y
b.
equals
Y
MX
equal
plus B.
mx plus b. So
Okay.
now, what you should notice is, remember I told you math is about patterns, right? That middle term, mx, can change. That's variable. Hold on, is that why variables are called variables? Yes! That's why variables are called variables, because they're unknown. They can change. B is a constant. That's not going to change. So when I look at this right here, and I have said currently weighs 260, he loses 4 pounds per month, which is not going to change. What did I start with?
260.
260. Is that going to be my M or my B?
M.
Your M.
So you saying my 260
No,
is
no,
going to
no,
be
no,
my
no,
M?
no, 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 no,
I
no.
said
It's gonna be
going to
B.
be your B.
It's going to be
This
your
is where
B.
we
That's
at.
not going to change. That's where you started from.
That's where he
Yeah,
at. Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
what changes?
The
Your 260
slope
doesn't change.
changes.
You
The MX
lose
changes.
4 pounds per month.
4x.
So the 4 is your what?
4x.
Slope.
Your 4 is your what? Your slope.
Your mx, yeah.
Now, the key word though is loses. Should that be a positive 4 or a negative 4?
Negative.
So if I know I'm losing minus 4 pounds a month and I started at 260, what's going to be my equation of the line?
You're going to have y equals negative 4x plus 260.
Stop playing. That's it. That's it. There you go, right there.
Screenshot that. Send it, I mean, this for me though.
Again, what's important? Go to these problems. When you go to these word problems, understand what's changing, what's not changing. When you see that word per, 4 loses 4 pounds per month. So that means the first month I lost 4, second month I lost another 4, third month I lost another 4. That's changes because it's whatever month you're in is minus 4 times 1. That's the first month. Minus 4 times 2. That's my second month. That term is changing. It's variable. That will give you a clue. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to get one of my students into an IT program, and he's calling me right now, but I can't accept that call.
Oh,
so
that's so nice.
That's all right. That's all right. This is what I do all day. I try to help. I try to change people's lives. So from the minute I'm at work to even when I'm here, that's what I try to do. So again, especially for young men and women, IT is an area that's paying a lot of money. A banking area. I'm also helping some students in the banking industry. Okay, so there are jobs that are starting $20, $30, $40 an hour with no college degree. So if you're in a major city, if you're close to a major city, there are a lot of programs that are free. So you need to check them, especially IT. They got some medical assistant programs that are
I've been
free.
looking all through Atlanta, Mr. Tennessee. I can't find nothing, man.
In Atlanta, I'll check for you.
IT tip, because I've been
I'll
on
check
that
for you. Matter of fact, I know it's one that's in Atlanta. I'll give it to you. I'll send it to you an email.
Appreciate that, man.
It's about 15 to 16 weeks, I believe.
Perfect. Wow. And it's free, right? It's free.
It's free. Don't cost you anything.
All right.
Yep. So anyway, so we got that equation. Y equal minus 4x plus 260. So that's the first part of it. But the only thing that must change is they said after m months. So in this case, again, we used y equal mx plus b, but we realized that our variable that we want to use is m. So really what we want is y equal minus 4m plus 260. But what I tell all my students is start with the slope intercept form first, y equal mx plus b, and then change the variables that you need to. But for the GED, you don't have to worry about it because they probably give you multiple choice and you'll be able to pick the one anyway. So let's go to the second part of it.
Okay.
After how many months will Mr. Thompson reach his weight of 220? Now, what is that 220? Is that 220Y or is that 220M?
Okay. Wait a minute.
B.
Is the 220Y or is the
Why?
220M?
Why?
Why?
It's
Well,
why.
if you wasn't sure, it tells you what the M is standing for right there, the number of months.
Yeah. Because
So
you
you
got
know it
okay.
can't be M. So what
No.
I'm gonna do is say 220 equal minus 4M plus 260. And now we have to solve for M. So if I need to solve for M, I need to get rid of this 260. So I'm gonna subtract 260.
260
On
from
both
Whatever I do to
sides.
one side, I do on the other.
Yep.
I'm running out of room here. So I get minus 40 equal minus 4M. In order to get the M by itself, what do I need to do?
Divide.
You got to
Divide by
divide.
what?
4.
Divide by 4.
40.
40.
Divide by what?
4.
4.
Divide by what?
4.
Minus 4M.
Okay, so let me just
Okay.
reiterate.
Wait.
If I ask this, hold on. If I ask the same question multiple times, you are wrong.
Right.
So to get M by itself, what do I need to divide by?
4.
No. What is the coefficient in front of that M?
Negative 4.
The 40.
Negative 4.
Negative
You
4.
cannot forget those
I
signs.
knew I was
Negative
negative
4.
4 then.
If I want to get M by itself, I need to get rid of the negative 4.
But
Right.
don't
On
you gotta
both
change the
sides.
signs though? Don't you gotta
You
change
got
the sign from like from negative to do a switch it to positive?
Oh,
Not
you
yet.
gonna confuse yourself.
no.
Yeah.
You gonna confuse yourself. A one-step equation. I don't care which you have. Minus 2M, 4M, 1/2 M. I don't care what you. In order to get M by itself, you need to get rid of the minus 2 here. In order to get M by itself, you need to get rid of the 4 here. In order to get rid of the M by itself, you need to get rid of that 1/2 here. So the opposite of multiplying by -2 is dividing by -2. If you want to get rid of that 4, the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. If you want to get rid of that 1/2, the same as multiplying by 1/2 is the same as dividing 1/2. But what you should also notice on this last one, dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by 2. Remember, you can't let those signs confuse you. You asking yourself a question. If I want to get M by itself, I need to get rid of the -4. The -4 is being multiplied by M. The opposite of multiplication is division. I need to divide by -4. Whatever I do to one side, I do on the other. The -4s cancel. That's the whole purpose. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to get M all by itself.
So,
And then -40 divided by 4 is a +10.
Negative 10,
yes,
positive 10.
yes, that's
So
what
the
I got.
answer to this, it would take 10 months for him to lose or to get to his weight, his target weight of 220. Most people make the mistake here. This loses 4 pounds. Most people do Y equal 4X plus 260.
3 months. Wow.
Instead of Y equal minus 4X plus 6. Everybody understand that?
Yeah, I get that now. I get it now because the key word was lose, and you gotta make sure you know that's a negative, not a positive.
Exactly. And
because
this
it's
is
a word
why
problem.
And this is why the more practice that you do, the more types of problems that you see, the more prepared you will be when you take your exam. Okay, so again, are these problems, they may be difficult? They may be, but you can't worry about if they're difficult now. You worrying about if they're difficult when you take your exam. So just because I've seen a lot of people may score 20 or 30 or 40, that's just telling you areas you got to work on. Don't get discouraged. They don't count. These scores don't count. These are where you work on. So if you had a problem with ratio and proportions, the minute you get out of this class, you should be logging into Schoology, going to that ratio and proportion pretest and see how you do. If you have problems with with word problems, linear word problems, since you know where it's at, you should go in there and try that quiz. Let me see what I know. Let me see what I can figure out. Because the one thing you want to do, the one thing about knowledge that's important is that once you learn something, you need to practice it in order to know it. If you try to remember these concepts and go take your exam, you're going to be in trouble. You can't remember these concepts. You have to know. So you have to put enough practice in. So what I suggest, so even though I say GED Math in 30 days, I also expect, if you see in front of the book, I expect at least 1 hour to 2 hours a day. And I didn't say every other day. I didn't say 2 times a week. If you want to pass this exam in 30 days, you got to give me 1 hour to 2 hours a day. Something got to be sacrificed. That's it. Now, the proof is in the pudding. If you on my Facebook, you should see 7, 8 people pass this week. A couple of those people just joined the class 2 and 3 weeks. Why? Because they said, you know what? That first week, I'm going to go through that ebook and I'm going to make sure the concepts I don't know, I know how to use on this calculator. And I'm going to know how to use this calculator. And then I'm going to practice. I had a person take each practice test 3 and 4 times until she understood the mistakes she was making. When we had our one-on-one, what she did was she had her test scheduled for the end of the month. She changed it to the next day because she was feeling so confident. Because, oh, that's the importance of the one-on-one. But first, before you have your one-on-one with me, you got to put the work in yourself. So then when we have our one-on-one, I can pinpoint the areas of weakness and things you didn't understand, and then you can focus on those to go take your exam. But what I should see, if you have an exam, this is March 20th. If you want to take this exam in the next 30 days, I should be able to go on Schoology and see your name 3, 4, 5 times at least a week where you practicing. I've seen people 3 and 4, 5 times a day. I seen somebody get up at 6:40 this morning, did a test at 6:40, 7:40. She must have took her kids to school, came back at 9 o'clock, did some more practice, then did a practice test right before I got in here today. And that was just today. There is no substitute for hard work. So I can show you how to the ebook. I show you how to. There's no substitute for hard work. If you learn how to work here, you can work hard in everything you do, because you can have aspirations past this. Whether it's nursing school, whether it's a pharmacy tech, whether it's construction. I just had a young man tell me he in a construction school, but he knocked out his math exam. He from Kentucky somewhere. His goal originally wasn't construction, but he's interested in construction because he couldn't pass the math. Now that he passed his math, he's ready to go. He's in a training program, free. Again, you have to set goals for yourself. One of those goals should to at least be work 1 hour a day. Now, on the weekend, you might take a little break, I don't know, but you should at least be working 1 hour a day. You should be at least getting on Schoology to make sure pre-algebra, exponents, squares, square roots, cube roots, the first 5. Why? Because that's how you're going to start your exam. So if you look here, I now have a test for the first 5. So where so many adult educators say, oh, no, don't worry about the first 5. Listen, that's the worst advice anybody could give you. Why? If you start your exam off and you get the first 5 wrong, how are you feeling? You're not feeling too good about yourself, are you? But what happens if you get those first 5 right? Now your confidence is boosted. You're feeling good about yourself. Your self-esteem is feeling good. That's what you want to do. You want to create an environment of success. Don't say to yourself, skip the first 5, I don't need them. What? The first 5 is basic math. If you can't do the first 5, you're already in trouble. So I created one right there, first 5. Also on my website, I also got quizzes for the first 5. Don't discount the first 5, I'm telling you, because this is what people, listen, You miss the first 5 and you get a 144 or 143, you're gonna be mad at yourself. And what I've also seen is when people send me their practice tests, 143, 142, 144, they missed 3 out of the first 5. They missed 4 out of the first 5. You would have passed the exam. Don't discount the first 5. That's my daily advice for you today. Do not discount those first 5. Not because they're not important. The main reason is you want to build your confidence and your self-esteem going into your harder problems. If you know you already got 5 right, in your mind, you're thinking, oh, I only need 17 more problems to go. Now, if you got those first 5 right, oh my God, now I got, oh God, it's only 35 problems left. And I got to get 22 out of 30. That's too much pressure. Then you start getting yourself all worked up. Okay, so again, all the practice you need from pre-algebra, practice GED, fractions, decimals, linear equations. I got almost everything you need right here. Right here. Put the time in and you're going to pass. I'm telling you, you're going to pass. And the proof is in the pudding. All you got to see is all the posts I'm doing in terms of people passing. And guess what? They're no different than you. You just got to want it. Do you want it enough? That's what you got to ask yourself. Now, it's 7 o'clock. And I know me and my son are going to watch this basketball game. So I got to cut out tonight. But
no, that's right.
Because remember, family is also important. So make sure you spend time with family too.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, the reason why I started this is to help people pass the most difficult test on the GED, which is math. Okay. So again, if you put the hard work, I'm here, my YouTube videos. If you notice, I put one on the other day. The young lady, she didn't buy the ebook. She never came to class. She said she studied, she got up at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. Her kids came home from school, and all she did was my YouTube videos for 2 weeks. And she felt it 5 times before that. Find what works for you. Find what works for you, and we're going to go pass this test together. All right?
I'm with it.
Everybody have a wonderful night. It was a pleasure.
Too.
Let me see, 6, 8, 12 tonight. Good. Everybody have a wonderful evening.
All right, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Mr. Tinsley.
Yes.
You got